Welcome. My name is Melissa. I will be your cosmic guide today. And we're going to do a channeling of the Bigfoot Collective, the multidimensional extraterrestrial Bigfoot Sasquatch Collective. And we'll just pull a few cards to see if there's any messages to start with. And we're also going to discuss a couple of crystals that are kind of earthy and Bigfooty. So I'm going to start with pulling a couple cards and see if there's anything we can start with from the Bigfoot Collective. Because over the years, many people have asked me about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and it always seemed normal to me that there's a Bigfoot bandwidth collective that we could talk to and ask questions to. They always seemed extraterrestrial to me. And so I've done that several times at requests for clients and things in the psychic medium readings and the channelings and things that I've done for 30 years. So, and I'm also from Oklahoma. Don't tell anyone because I don't like to admit it. Sometimes, I'm just kidding. But I'm from Oklahoma, and the Midwest has kind of natural, lots of sightings, and most people believe in a Bigfoot there. And I had a sighting once when I was in the only time I've ever had a in-person physical connection with a Bigfoot Sasquatch. I think they call it the skunk ape in the Arkansas areas. They're a little bit shorter than some of the other areas of the country and maybe the world, where some are taller, some are shorter. And there's the stinky man skunk. Skunk ape is what they call it sometimes in Arkansas. And I was visiting, there's a place in northern Arkansas that I love called Eureka Springs. And I was on the balcony of a tree house and Airbnb that I was staying in, cabin. And I was by myself, and I had talked to one of my boyfriends on the phone, and I just had a t-shirt on, in the back of the treehouse was right in up against a national forestry wildlife reserve, and so it was just thick with trees, and wouldn't you actually call it a forest, but like woods, and it was for miles and miles. So there's a lot of sightings in that area of UFOs, and a lot of sightings of the Bigfoot in that area that they call the skunk ape. Some people do. So I was in Arkansas, and I love it there. And I was just on the back porch. It was just pitch black in my little t-shirt and shorts. And all of a sudden I felt like fear, like serious fear. Like I had no more breath in me. And very close, in the treehouse, I'm seeing the tops of the trees. The trees started moving, and there was beating on the trees. And the smell was so pungent. It was super freaky. Oh, it was foul and strange. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this it? Like I'm going to be kidnapped by Bigfoot? Because I knew what it was I could feel, but I just stood there. And I even said, okay, thank you. I think you heard me. Like, thank you for letting me know you're here. And the trees were so big, and I investigated it the next morning too. Like, could it have been a human being? Could that have been animals, rubbing their antlers up against a tree? It was beating, and the whole trees were swaying. I don't think any human being I've ever seen could move those trees like that. And I did see the top of one's head. I didn't see them visibly as much as I would have wanted to, but I stood there for good 5, 6, 7 minutes. I just almost wasn't breathing. I did not move. And I chatted with them, and they would get a little bit closer and then beat some more. And I don't think any humans could make that had that strength, and I don't think even big elk or any animals with antlers could have done anything like that. And the footsteps did not seem like 4. it seemed like two. So I was just really trying to investigate and be very skeptical, but it was just like I felt almost like just cold fear, terror the whole entire time I was there, like 6, 7 minutes. So that was one of the coolest experiences I ever had, because I was talking to him. I'm like, thanks for letting me know you were here. Their energies are very, very extraterrestrial, very strange. I mean, imagine out of nowhere Chewbacca walking past you and kind of in a look at me state. Chewbacca on our Star Wars is very mellow and doesn't need to be the center of attention. But imagine if he did, and just walking in and just that energy, extraterrestrial. So I'm feeling the extraterrestrial connection of pure divine light. I always ask for with Bigfoot Collective, and they're saying we've been here for a long time. We think a little bit differently than you. And we've always been able to go in and out of the dimensions. There are different kinds of beings that can go in and out of the dimensions very easily. And they are here. This is interesting, some have been sent here to watch Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, watch humanity interact with the Earth during this awakening and ascension. They've been around a long time. So we could also call them the Yeti, Sasquatch, the Abominable Snowman. When I was a little kid, we watched that movie, around Christmas, where the Abominable Snowman was in it. And then they finally made friends at the end, and we found that the Abominable Snowman wasn't really, he was just weird and he was cranky, but he was not that mean. So we can look at that extraterrestrial energy in the same way, that we're kind of like little kids and we don't know, and they're bigger than we are. It's strange. And they say we can walk in and out of the energies and be solid like you, or we can just kind of be stealth and smooth. And we were sent here. So some of us are different, just like you, like different, taller, shorter, lighter hair, darker hair, different races of humanity that we call different races from different places, that have features that are a little bit different physically. So are the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot, they're saying. And some of us are a little bit lighter or darker. So there's, in all of us, they're saying we also have been ascending within this universe. And some of us are a little more serious, or and we react to the way humanity has always seen us. So some of us are okay with being here, some are not, and they have a totally different perspective of in the way they think. So they're saying we're not thinking about who's going to sit by us at lunch, or what color our shoes should be, or if my hair looks okay, because they connect in a different way, and they are telepathic with each other. And they're saying it goes beyond our understanding or our comprehension a little bit, that there's only one or two, and sometimes they have babies. There is also in this collective, they have communities and tribes and things like that as well, is what they're saying. And they just their energies shift or change some of the frequencies on Earth as well. So some of them are staking claims for, it's almost like areas that have to be activated or to be grounded. It's like that a frequency or energy is put into the Earth. And of course they are much more adept to survival and things like that. You know, they can live in the different elements better than we can. They don't even think of it that way. We are over talkative in our minds, in our consciousness. We are over talkative to them. And but they do have families, and they do have children, and they do have sort of the same production setup They just have different purpose and things like that. And they have been shuffled in this universe a little bit here and there. They're saying, and their collective is also rising. Their consciousness, the Bigfoot consciousness, is also ascending as we are. So it's almost like the whole layers and layers and layers of every, how about this? Every human, every animal, the trees and the earth itself, and every blade of grass and every leaf on the planet, every grain of sand is evolving. And so why wouldn't they? The whole fabric of the universe is evolving and ascending. So why wouldn't they? He's saying, well, they would. We sometimes give signs, and we have the, of course, the calling and things like that. And when people have been frightened of us, it's our energies are so extraterrestrial different that mostly we don't want to harm you, mess with you, but we do watch you sometimes. And they just are capable of moving at much greater speeds than we are. They're saying we don't care for the violent, ridiculous guns trying to enslave us, things like that. It's kind of a lower frequency. And occasionally there are stories, and have been stories, of a rogue Bigfoot or Bigfoot group just being really scary and really bullying human beings. Occasionally, not very often, but occasionally. Usually they're minding their own business, or just knocking on trees. They're saying, yeah, that's just something we do. They can hear a frequency differently than we can as well. They can smell differently than we can as well. Their whole energetic architecture is a little bit different than we are. Yet very similar. And they're saying, so some of the darker energies in the Bigfoot collective or the Sasquatch collective have been kind of bullying, and it could be they have a purpose. They kind of have a knowing that's different than we are. If you want to know us, if you want to seek for Bigfoot, look for Bigfoot, you can. And sometimes they'll answer just like other extraterrestrials, like star beings and things like that. And you can feel them. Fascinating. He says we're glad, the one that's speaking is glad that we are fascinated by the Sasquatch. And it's pretty cool. I had a client tell me, and she's had many experiences. I never can tell if she doesn't have much what do you call it? She doesn't show much emotion at all on her face when she's talking. I love her. She's really cool. She wrote a book too about experience in her life. I'll have to tell about that one of these days, or interview her. She has connection with the star beings and definitely Bigfoot, and they come through her yard. So that's also where the place where I grew up. She has Bigfoot in the yard sometimes, and they leave footprints. And she says there's buns prints when their little booties are sitting on the grass over here, or this dirt area. And she says, and they stack big branches in certain ways in her yard and move things. And I'm like, are you sure that's not a person? Because who else have you told this to? She's like, well, she didn't talk to anyone hardly. And she's not real chatty, so I doubt that she would tell too many people. But she said, no, it's not. It's like the Bigfoot. The foot is big. And she said there were like adolescent Bigfoots with them and shuffling, and one or two people couldn't have moved the branches and the trees that were in her yard in these certain formations. And I thought that's pretty cool. I believe you. I mean, it went like that. The Bigfoot Collective is also saying that we honor the clean waters and the air, and we also are aware of the very bad things that humanity has done, tainted um, Gaia, Mother Earth, and they're saying that again they're almost like activating, or it's, I want to call it, what they're showing me is like almost like thumping the earth in places that can help shift the vibration of this area. So I'm like, so are you doing some of the exorcisms on the earth that I have been saying for 15 years we need to be doing? Of the darker, heavier energies that have been in our history, in our earth, the patterns in our earth. And he's saying it's not really like that, but it shakes some of the energies around just by them being there, by their presence. But it's almost shakes the vibrations and shifts them up. This is a little bit like if you notice that your shelves or cabinets have a lot of dust on them, and you go pop it, and you can just see it, you can breathe it, real old dusty stuff. They're saying that about the energies move when they're in certain areas. I would not have even known to ask for that. And I had a couple cards fall out while I was shuffling, and I wasn't looking, so I don't know what we've got here. But again, regular playing cards, Bigfoot. Let's see what we have. So the first one I got is this Six of Diamonds. Bigfoot doesn't judge me. And they're saying that is correct. We don't have that program, or our souls were not infected by that lower Garden of Eden matrix that judges people. And they're like, no, we know we look different, but we're not worried if we celebrate or just naturally celebrate the uniqueness in each other. So if one's bigger or smaller or tall, it might even be backwards. Like, yeah, the bigger ones are more beautiful. Who knows? If they're saying actually they just don't judge. They watch us. They think we're kind of ridiculous, kind of like almost like our own like circus, lots of circus monkeys going on around each one of us and in our lives, and the way we do things, the way we think we need to go to work. Yes, that's the heater turning on. The way we need to go to work and fight for everything and bully each other and step on each other to get everything. They're not down with that. So the Six of Diamonds is sometimes a clarity. It could almost be like the Six of Pentacles in the tarot. But the Six of Diamonds is almost like everything's going on for the collective. So they are bringing us messages to our collective consciousness, and there's a richness. Open your eyes to the richness. So the Bigfoot Collective is also, this being is telling me there's magic. They are magical, and they don't think in terms of lack. And again, taking from someone else, that is absolutely this silliest thing they've ever heard of, because we torture each other, human beings. And so-and-so wants, is manipulating me for my money and for whatever they could take from me. He's saying that doesn't work. And he says, so to release humanity's, or that's stuck into the earth, humanity's consciousness of lack, poverty, imbalanced misuse of power. They're very well aware that they're stronger than we are, and probably can move much quicker and more stealth than we are as well. I mean, Chewbacca, come on. He didn't say much, but he knew what was going on. What else we got here? Who believes in Bigfoot? So they got the masculine and feminine and that's the Five of Clubs. Five of Clubs to me means usually like travel. So cars, travel, planes, buses, trains, travel, movement. And so they're saying that we move quickly, our travels are, um, stealth. And again, we're going in and out of those different dimensions where you kind of can't. Humanity will open our eyes to the different dimensions, so we will see what's around us in the ethers and spirit more as we go on. But they're saying, who believes in Bigfoot? There's 3-2 ratio, so there's I want to believe, as we are all ascending, we want to believe, we want to know the sacred truth of what's real and not the big drama of all the things, imbalanced stories and way we perceive everything. And then I've got King of Diamonds, and it says for the bride or groom. So I don't know if you can see this, but the little picture over here looks like it's a Bigfoot, and they're sitting watching these people get married in 1930. And it just feels like to me that is supposed to be funny. The King of Diamonds also brings, it's almost like the King of Pentacles in tarot. It's like a powerful earth knowing of prosperity, richness, that there's plenty for all. And if you have a feeling you're supposed to go see somebody or go drive somewhere or take a trip or move or go someplace, do it. They're saying connect with the earth. Go. If you're supposed to go talk to someone, you want to tell someone you love them, go. If you can. I mean, that's not always, we still have things going on where it's not as easy to travel sometimes. And this King of Diamonds is showing awareness of the connection in consciousness between human beings and between their race of Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot. Their different connections are just much more natural. We're not awake to ours, so then we taint it. And they're saying that there's a rich, prosperous, abundant connection between us, and very powerful. When power is misused, that's when it becomes human and stupid circusy, and everyone gets guns out and tries to bully people or try to hunt Sasquatch or try to take. So the last one I dropped out says no hunting, only finding. Number 7 of diamonds. This is, it's almost like a plan. Number 7 of diamonds and cards indicate, or in a reading would be, for me at least, it's like laying down plans, like doing the outline plans of what you want, writing down the steps A, B, and C. What do you need if you're going to make a beef stew tonight? What do you need? Do you want carrots in it? Do you need a little bit of gravy help with the beef broth? A little bit of salt. Do you need beef cubes? Are you gonna have little strips? What do you need? Onions? So it's, you put all the ingredients together, and it feels like this, not hunting like in malicious ways, but how are we going to put the ingredients together in and around us to bring in the consciousness that we want, where we know everyone is equal. It's like, what seeds are you planting? So they're asking us, like, what's going on over there? What seeds are you planting for this world and this humanity? Think you're going to catch it on Twitter? I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter for many years. They just wanted just to touch base and that consciousness, that collective consciousness of Sasquatch, Bigfoot, says that they are, they'll be around for a little while, and then as the ascension completes, they don't need to be if they don't want to. And some of them, this is their home too. So, and then I'm going to look at this crystal that I chose to talk about. I'm going to try to choose some crystals in some of our um, videos. And the one I chose for the Bigfoot collective is Fire Agate. And I really wanted this one because this one is also, it's almost like a, kind of like tourmaline. It's a protective one. This one will shield a little bit. I had this by the front door in one of the places I lived previously. And it shields any negative, dark, sneaky, attacky vibes. And so it's strong and fiery and powerful and earthy all at the same time. And so that just, I thought that was fitting for the Bigfoot collective. Some of this fire agate, again, like if you feel like someone is sending bad energies, hating you all the time, this fire agate can kind of reflect it back. And hopefully, I always ask at least that it be cleansed and cleared, like transmuted, as it's not just bouncing back, like send it back to him, because I don't ever do that. It's just not responsible. It's a bad choice. Makes us human beings to the other extraterrestrials look like we're having crazy, violent, psychopathic circuses going on. And that's normal to us. Normal. Their normal is different, and it's a little bit more groovy and connected, and they can hear Mother Earth more than we can, is what he's saying. So, anyway, Fire Agate. I have another piece that looks just like it, so I have two. Pretty cool. Connective. It's just kind of representative of that Bigfoot energy a little bit. And I thank the Bigfoot collective for being willing to connect and bring us so many good messages and understanding. Thank you. And I thank you to you. If you want to make an appointment or get a reading, or maybe do something where you meet your Bigfoot guide in the higher dimensions, or learn a little bit about their Bigfoot magic or medicine, you can find the information in the box below. And I thank you. Many blessings.